Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 308 based on novel. So let's start. In an instant, the two kinds of holy flames on Xiao Yan's palm directly wrapped Wanyan Shenbing. Immediately, even with the extraordinary high temperature of Shenyang, just when the mysterious ice of 10,000 years was wrapped, a trace of cold air suddenly emerged. This thing is actually so strong. Seeing this, Xiao Yan frowned and couldn't help but speak. This thing will take a lot of time, take your time. Seeing this, Soul Eater had no other choice for a while, so he could only speak helplessly. Crash. Xiao Yan heard this and was not in a hurry. He carefully controlled the two holy flames, constantly catalyzing Shenbing. Once the time passed, it was another few days. During these few days, Xiao Yan had been refining the 10,000-year mysterious ice tirelessly, but it was too hard. Fortunately, at the last moment, a trace of this thing slowly emerged. Crack. Bang bang bang. As Xiao Yan increased his strength, Wanyan Shenbing suddenly exploded and turned into a cloud of powder, which was immediately condensed into a pile of liquid by Xiao Yan's flames. At this moment, the three piles of liquid have been slowly formed, and with the addition of some other neutralizing medicinal materials, this first step is finally completed. This immortal rank 5th grade medicinal pill really lives up to its reputation. Xiao Yan wiped away his sweat and spoke slowly. It is so difficult just to refine it, and the next fusion, even pill tribulation, might be extremely difficult. It took Xiao Yan a lot of time and fighting qi just to refine the three flavored herbs, but fortunately, with the existence of Fen Ju, the recovery speed of fighting qi was extremely fast. The next step is quite a difficult step. Although the wisdom in the young pill has been completely erased, but directly injecting these medicinal materials into it, I am afraid it will still cause a lot of unnecessary trouble. Take out the young pill, then Xiao Yan's heart sank. Don't worry, let's do it. After a while, Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed and he stared at the 4 globs of liquid in front of him very nervously. Heart-suppressing grass, come in for me. With a cold snort, the dazzling soul force swept out, and the first group of liquid was directly integrated into the young pill. The medicinal power of heart suppression herb is quite gentle, so there is no difficulty along the way. Next is the magic core. Seeing the faint energy halo in the young pill, Xiao Yan also smiled contentedly. Shabu shabu. After a while, the dazzling energy liquid on Xiao Yan's palm was heading towards the young Dan's body, but this time, the young Dan, who already had the energy of the heart-suppressing grass, broke out a monstrous resistance. The meaning, obviously the energy of the two, one is too violent, the other is too soft, and the stalemate is hard. I still don't believe I can't cure you. Give me a melt. Seeing this, Xiao Yan did not believe in this evil. The dazzling soul power completely wrapped the magic core energy like a tide, and then launched round after round of offensives against the young Dan. Zhu. Even if the power of the two was not right, under the control of Xiao Yan's terrifying soul power, they began to slowly merge. And because two liquids poured into the young pill, bursts of refreshing special energy suddenly overflowed. Next is Wanyan Shenbing and the herbs for neutralization. After a slight pause, Xiao Yan said immediately, melting it for me. After a few breaths, Xiao Yan directly poured the liquid that Wanyan Shenbing had turned into the young Dan's body. Wang buzzing. This time, there was no resistance. The liquid of Wanyan Shenbing entered directly into the young core. At the same time, a trace of chills that penetrated the heart suddenly spread throughout the house. Even Xiao Yan, who was carrying the holy flame, felt a deep sense of discomfort. Give it to me. Seeing that among the young pills sent by the 4 groups of liquid, each of them immediately took up a position, and Xiao Yan immediately shouted. Under Xiao Yan's control, those liquids didn't last long, but they were fused by Xiao Yan's subtle soul power. At that time, a strong Danxiang and a white jade-colored ice profound Dan exuded a tyrannical aura. The fluctuations slowly appeared in front of Xiao Yan. Successful. Seeing this, Xiao Yan couldn't help but exclaimed. Obviously, even if he had a young pill, it would be quite difficult to refine the pill, but fortunately it was a success. Boom. Bright explosions continued to emerge from Xiao Yan's house, and the soul power that Xiao Yan had set up collapsed in an instant. Not good, forget about the Dan Lei tribulation, and Xiao Yan's surprise didn't last a breath, but it was instantly replaced by a touch of heaviness. Even if it is an elixir made from a young pill, it is a genuine 5th grade immortal rank elixir. The power of thunder contained in the 5th grade immortal rank medicinal pill is not something that I can bear. Boom. At the same time, above the entire sky of Tianming Villa, there were terrifying thunderclouds with strange shapes but boundless thunder, which suddenly appeared. Is this, someone is refining the 5th grade immortal rank medicinal pill? The King of Heaven and Zhuemu in the Tianming villa slowly sat up and saw such a vision at this time. Zhuemu exclaimed. Inside their Tianming mountain villa, there is indeed the existence of an immortal rank 5th grade alchemist, but the existence of that level is all like a phoenix hair water chestnut, and they are often in retreat. The power of this pill thunder tribulation is far less than immortal rank 5. It seems that someone is refining it with the help of young pills, and looking at the direction of Dan Lei's attack, it seems to be in a certain courtyard. I remember that there is Xiao Yang's shelter. It's really interesting. The King of Pluto was well informed and smiled slowly. Boom. In an instant, on Xiao Yang's body, the power of the holy flame disappeared, replaced by an extremely fiery flame. Damn. Seeing the terrifying thunder in the sky, Xiao Yang felt a heavy feeling in his heart. Let me try it. After a short while, a silver figure suddenly jumped out, then broke out of the house directly, and roared towards the rolling thunder above the sky. This figure is impressively Xiao Yang's soul avatar, Xiao Lei, but at this moment on his body, a stream of thunder like a dead grey quietly emerged. Chichi's novels are first published on the whole network. And just when this grey thunder came into contact with the rolling thunder above the sky, those thunders fled like frightened bird. Where to run? The corners of Xiao Lei's mouth slowly wriggled, and then countless thunderbolts flowed directly into Xiao Lei's body along a rather special pattern, and the aura in Xiao Lei's body suddenly became surging. And with Xiao Lei being dispatched like this, Xiao Yang was also afraid that Xiao Lei's identity would be exposed, so he took back Xiao Lei after a short while, but most of the power in the calamity had been swallowed up by Xiao Lei, so Xiao Yang was free to do so. With one blow, the Dan Lei tribulation collapsed. Come back. Seeing this, Xiao Yang smiled slowly, and immediately waved. Xiao Lei was also returning to Xiao Yang's soul realm. Until this time, the ice profound pill, which was used to devour the undead fire, was truly completed. This guy named Xiao Yang really has something incredible on his body. Heavenly Pluto, who was hiding in the dark, naturally saw through Xiao Yang's little trick just now, but he didn't expose it. After all, such a thing as a soul avatar, however, very few people will go to refining, and the moment Xiao Yang's soul clone appeared just now, he directly absorbed the tyrannical Dan Lei in the Dan Lei tribulation. The soul clone of the level, even the Heavenly Pluto has never seen it. This guy named Xiao Yang really has a lot of secrets. Do you need to investigate it carefully? Zhuemu looked at Xiao Yang and his soul avatar who were passing by in the air, and the corners of his mouth wriggled. No need, such a talented person is definitely different from ordinary people, and I always feel that this guy will add a lot of prestige to our Yin Hunshan when he joins the Li Soul realm. Tian Pluto laughed. By the way, my lord, Du Tianhong from Dongzhou's Forged Knife Thunder Valley gave us the Lei Di scepter. It is said that the criminals who attacked them in Dongzhou and some special existences were sealed inside. These guys seem to be plotting some kind of plan, Zhuemu said. Take it, this time, you will lead these dozens of people to Li Soul realm with me. King Tianming responded slowly and said. By the way, there is also Du Tianhong's daughter, Duo Chifei. With her, there are 11 people who have entered Li Soul domain this time. Go down and prepare. In a few days, we will set off. King Hades closed his eyes slightly and said, Du Qifei? Although that Nizi is of good strength, she is also the daughter of Du Tianhong, but entering Li Soul realm is a bit unqualified. After all, Li Soul realm is. Zhuemu couldn't help but wonder. You don't need to ask so much, she is the person Li Huanyu named, and you will know when you arrive at Li Huanyu. King Pluto pretended to be profound. Okay. When Zhuemu heard the words, he also went down to inform the 11 people to go. Xiao Yang had just finished refining the medicinal pills, but he didn't stop for a while. After saying goodbye to Heavenly Pluto directly, he went to live in front of Xiao Gui and the others. Fortunately, Heavenly Pluto did not pretend to make things difficult. It went well on the road. Big Brother just arrived at the residence of the Dongju powerhouse, opened the door, and suddenly Xiao Gui and Du Qifei slowly stood in the living room, as if they had learned about their whereabouts and deliberately waited for him. Hee. Seeing this, Xiao Yang couldn't help grinning. Brother, what happened to the poison demon empress in the end? Xiao Gui couldn't help but asked in a fiery heart. Although he didn't know why, Xiao Gui knew that his eldest brother, Xiao Yang, indeed had an extremely terrifying power, and the oppression given to him by that power was not inferior to that of Pluto. The demon empress of Jusha has run away, But all the powerhouses in the world and the Juxia family have completely fallen into the demon suppression prison. Xiao Yang spoke slowly, his voice full of pity. Are you all right? Duo Chifei heard the words, but did not bother to ask Xiao Yang about the process, but only cared about Xiao Yang's safety. I'm fine, I'm afraid I just need to wait for the time to pass, then Lord Pluto will take us to Li Sol realm. Xiao Yang said with a smile. Li Sol territory. Duo Chifei was stunned when she heard the name. Obviously she also knew that this place that dominates the countless plain continents under Li Sol territory of the ghost world, once you go there, add as a person who is reincarnated, I am afraid that this life will not be too peaceful. Chichi's novels are first published on the whole network. Don't worry, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Seeming to see through Duan Chifei's troubles, Xiao Yang said, obviously although reincarnation has many advantages, it also has many disadvantages. Duo Chifei agreed slightly. After a night of silence, everyone immediately rested and left, and except for the 3 people here, the remaining 9 people were also quite hot at this time. Senior sister, this trip to the demon suppression prison is really dangerous. At Tianin's residence, Liu Yun stared helplessly at his senior sister Nebula, and there was a rare gratification in his voice. Okay, it was originally for slaughtering evil things to get points, but in the end, the demon empress of Poison Break broke the seal and almost killed them, which was quite dangerous. But in any case, they have also obtained the qualifications to enter Li Sol realm, which is enough. It has always been the Master's dream to enter Li Hun territory. This time we helped Master to realize it. Next time I return to Yin Hun Tian, I will definitely give Master a surprise. At this time, Xing Yun looked like a little girl, and the corners of his eyes flickered slowly. It is quite soft. Although their Tianyin sect is strong, they have never entered the Sol Li Sol realm, so this is also a major event for their sect. Now that the 2 of them have obtained the qualifications to enter the Li Sol realm at the same time, it is natural that they are divided. Excited outside. As soon as the words fell, the 2 were also relieved, and seductive movements emerged one after another. Senior brother, Li Sol territory, what kind of existence is that? Lin Lin asked Lin Yuan in the Wanhuan Palace. Obviously, the 2 of them now have the qualifications to enter Li Sol territory. Naturally, they are quite hot. Li Sol territory, that is the core that holds the countless planes under Li Sol territory. It is the place where all the peak powerhouses of Li Sol territory live. The powerhouses there are like clouds and extremely dangerous. But on the contrary, the resources there, even the opponents, are quite tyrannical and rich. Lin Yuan's voice was full of a hint of oppression, but more than that, it was excitement. As long as they can join Li Sol territory, then they will be among the powerhouses who have reached the top of Li Sol territory. At that time, I am afraid that their names will exist in the entire 7 realms. In Li Sol domain, the cultivation resources can be said to be enormous, and with the addition of tyrannical opponents, the road to the strong seems to be slowly unfolding towards them. Li Sol territory. I don't know if this time, I will be able to forge some other secrets. Liu Yang of the 1000 Puppet Ghost sect hid in the dark and spoke slowly. Obviously, it was not the first time that their sect had entered Li Sol realm, so it was the same for this place. Some are quite familiar. Li Sol territory. Shun Jun from the Soul Beast Alliance also laughed at this time. Obviously, being able to join Li Sol territory is enough to allow the strength behind them to gain a lot of benefits. Li Sol realm. This time I enter Li Sol realm, I must find the entrance to the dark plane, and then control the dark power. Our Ghost Shadow Valley can also break away from Li Sol realm and become the 8th realm, the world of the underworld. Host. Heiju of Ghost Shadow Valley smiled strangely at this time. It's just that he doesn't know that the so-called underworld is actually included in the 7 worlds, and it is a stronghold in the 7 worlds. It is only when he finds the entrance to the underworld in the future that he realizes that all this is just the end of the world. It's just a conspiracy in the hands of the strong. At the same time, the other places are also quietly waiting for the time to come. Once the time comes, they will be led directly to Li Sol realm by Heavenly Pluto. The next day, when the sun fell on Tianming Villa, the atmosphere in this space was immediately rendered to the extreme. Not for anything else, because today is the day when Heavenly Pluto took 11 disciples to Li Hun territory. Who is Heavenly Pluto? He is the owner of Tianming Villa, who was personally named by the Lord of the Shadowy Heaven. He is used to guard the order of the entire Yinhunshan, so it is not an exaggeration to say that he is the strongest in the entire Yinhunshan. And Li Sol realm, that is the place where nearly 1/3 of the powerhouses in the entire Ghost realm gather. There are not only the existence of the strongest, but also the 5 major courtyards that manage the countless planes under Li Sol domain. The distribution of all laws and resources under Li Sol domain, etc., are all assisted by the 5 major courtyards to assist the Li Sol Lord. Completed, in the Li Sol domain, the reputation of the Li Sol Lord has reached the top. Everyone. At this time, in the huge square inside Tianming Villa, Tianmingwang and Zhuamu took the lead, and the remaining 11 people stood slowly, and Tianmingwang was the first to speak. Lord Pluto. Looking at the handsome man in front of him, Xiao Yan and the others also spoke slowly, their voices filled with a rather fiery taste. Sir, all 11 people have arrived this time, and the order in the village has been arranged in accordance with your instructions. We can set off. Zhuamu said quite quietly. 11 little guys, this trip to Li Sol realm will be the most important part of your life journey. Work hard. I hope that in a few decades, you will be able to become prominent figures in the 5 great courts and even Li Sol realm. King Tian Pluto's eyes slowly beat, looking at the 11 people in front of him and said, anyone who can join Li Sol domain has enough talent and resources, but whether they can become a Xeon, it needs to rely on personal efforts. Now that you're ready, let's go. After looking at the crowd, looking at the fiery gazes in the eyes of everyone, there was no hesitation. The huge palm of the King of Heaven suddenly waved in front of him, a dazzling light. The door of space is coming quietly. 5-star fighting immortals can only build space passages or formations. I didn't expect that 6-star fighting immortals can directly cast the space gate. It's really a tyrannical handwriting. Shun Jun from the Soul Beast Alliance couldn't help but express a hint of envy. With the move of King Pluto, a shocking force of space suddenly filled the entire square, and at that time, the gate of space slowly took shape. Everyone, let's go. Zaidu shouted loudly, and immediately surrounded the 11 people with King Pluto and Zhuamu, one after the other, and everyone suddenly stepped into the door of space at the same time, heading towards Li Sol realm. What a stable space channel. Xiao Yang said with a surprised expression just as he stepped into the space channel. After all, the ordinary channel is stable, but it is not safe. There is a possibility that someone might be involved in a space storm. Dangerous, but the space passage in front of him is extremely stable, as if there is no danger. This is the space channel that directly connects Li Sol domain. It is constructed by the strong soul of Li Sol domain. In the entire ghost world, facing the powerhouse of Li Sol domain, even some people who are conspiratorial do not dare to give birth to other ideas about it. Zhuamu smiled. So it is. Xiao Yang also smiled slightly. Are you okay? After a short while, Xiao Yang looked at Du Chifei who was in front of him, but found that this girl seemed to be absent-minded. I'm fine. Duo Chifei shook his head, but a mist slowly appeared in his eyes, and he didn't know what it was. The space channel is extremely safe, you don't have to worry, in a few days, we will arrive at Li Sol realm. There is a new world, the world of the strong, and the most prosperous area in our entire Li Sol territory. Heavenly Pluto said with excited eyes, obviously even he was facing the Li Sol territory. When he was a behemoth, he also felt an inexplicable tremor. After all, he was stronger than his 6-star fighting immortal. In Li Sol realm, he could only be regarded as a powerhouse, and there was still a long way to go before he became a superpower. Sir, I don't know Li Sol territory here. After a while, Xiao Yang also explained the doubts in his heart. Good question. The so-called Li Sol territory is a very special space. It is much more tyrannical than the ordinary plain continent. King Tian Pluto smiled at Xiao Yang. For some reason, this guy always gave him an inexplicable feeling. I am familiar with fluctuations, but the fluctuations are extremely hidden, so King Tianming is not sure for a while. After all, Tianming's actual age is over 1,000. It is only because of the practice that he is so young. The Master of the Soul, Lei, has been around for a generation, so it is reasonable to have this illusion. The big ghost world is boundless. Except for the center of the ghost world, which gathers the supreme ghost of the ghost world and some special beings, the entire territory of the ghost world is divided into 3 domains and 5 places. And among the 3 domains, each domain controls thousands of plain continents. As for the 5 regions, it only controls hundreds of plain continents. Li Sol territory is the one with the largest territorial area and the most tyrannical strength among the 3 territories. But one thing may be misunderstood by you. The so-called Li Sol realm is already the category of transcendental planes, reaching the level of the realm, and the so-called realm is the general term for controlling thousands of planes, and we are here. The Li Sol domain that I went to next time is the core of thousands of continents. Countless resources, laws, and punitive measures were born from above the Li Sol realm, and thus spread. The voice of the king of Pluto sounded high, quite loud. This Li Sol territory is actually so tyrannical. Xiao Yang was slightly surprised when he heard the words. Yeah, although Li Sol domain is a domain, it gathers advantages that thousands of continents cannot have. It has abundant energy in heaven and earth, resources of chance relics emerge in endlessly, and even the quantity and quality of powerhouses are top-notch. The master of Shangli Sol is well managed, and this area of Li Sol is enough to be called a real powerhouse territory. This also created Li Sol domain's name in the first domain of the ghost world. In an instant, the Lord of Soul Eater also said, "It seems that even if he is stronger than his master, this proud Lord of Soul Eater, for Li Sol domain is also praised. It seems that this trip to Li Sol realm, some people have fun." Xiao Yang heard the words, and there was a trace of fiery in his heart. Li Huan knew, there are countless proud sons of the sky, but what Xiao Yang cares about most is Acacia brokenheartitis. Mu Yingying can be resurrected only if Acacia broken enteritis is found in Li Sol domain. When he thought that the smiling woman in the past was finally on the Shenling continent, facing the evil methods of the Shenling king, ignoring her own safety and sacrificing herself, Xiao Yang felt a sense of self-blame in his heart, and he couldn't help but tighten his palms. He tightly squeezed the beating heart in his chest. Acacia broken enteritis, is it really in Li Sol territory? As Xiao Yang and the others headed towards Li Sol territory through the space passage, there were quite a few strange things happening in Li Sol territory. Li Sol realm, this is a special realm, it is much more tyrannical than ordinary upper planes, even the energy of heaven and earth and the stability of space, etc., plus the existence of countless powerhouses, so this realm, it has become the real core area of thousands of planes under Li Sol domain. In Li Sol territory, because of its large territory, many forces were born in its territory. The strength of these forces should not be underestimated, but although these forces were born above Li Sol territory, but however, they did not dare to question the top management of Li Sol territory. Even though they were competing with each other, they maintained their lofty devotion when facing Li Sol territory. The detached status of the academy. And in the center of Li Sol domain, there are not only the existence of the 5 major courtyards, among the 5 major courtyards is the shrine of the Lord of Li Sol, but the temple of the Lord of Li Sol, even if it is some of the powerhouses in the 5 courtyards, there are very few people who know it. The only thing that is certain is that the temple of the Lord of Li Sol does exist in the core area of Li Sol domain, but it is only possible to live in the temple. Therefore, countless divine bans were set, and it was normal for ordinary people to find it hard to find. However, even if it is difficult to discover the temple of the Lord of Li Sol, the 5 courtyards have always been in the core area of Li Sol realm. They restrict each other and promote each other. It can be said that the 5 major courtyards are almost the most tyrannical in the entire Li Sol realm. The organization, of course, excluded the temple of the Lord of Souls, who did not know the exact trace. Just one thing. Ordinary ghosts and humans only know that in Li Sol domain, it is controlled by the 4 major courts. They are the Court of Judgment, the Earth Spirit Court, and the Soul Court, but only the powerhouses above Li Sol domain know that Li Sol domain above, in addition to the 4 houses, there is the 5th house, called the Senate. The Court of Adjudication is specially responsible for arresting and suppressing some powerhouses and forces that are unfavorable to Li Sol territory, and controls most of the combat power in Li Sol territory. The powerhouses in the Court of Adjudication have strengths that can be learned from the world. The Earth Spirit Academy, this is the place where talents are cultivated for the Temple of the Lord of Souls. It is said that the Chiju Diving Soul Cup, which is enough to have the effect of prolonging life, is here. The Court of Judgment is dedicated to judging some powerhouses or heretics. Once those who are listed on the judgment order will be directly introduced into the Court of Judgment, and they will be hunted down in the dark. Soul Academy, this is a rather strange force. It is said that it does not interfere in the affairs of Li Sol domain. It is only established by the Master of Li Sol, only to study the art of soul, try to crack some unknown secrets, and some the special martial arts and fighting skills are even the special existence of soul power. Unfortunately, it is a pity to say that this is an existence that serves the Lord of Li Sol alone, and besides the Lord of Li Sol, I am afraid that no one knows what they are doing. What research? Originally, under Li Sol territory, the Lord Li Sol only set up 4 major courtyards. In addition to this, it was a Senate's detachment, which formed 5 major courtyards. The Senate, this is about the appointment or dismissal of some of the plane masters among the thousands of planes under Li Sol territory, as well as the replacement of the other 4 houses in Li Sol territory and even the powerhouses in the temple of Li Sol Lord. There is a close relationship with him, and what's more, even some of the decisions of the Lord of Li Sol must be reviewed by the Senate, but only major events will be taken by the Senate, so the general small things are based on Li Sol's Lord. As for the shrine of the Lord of the Soul is the supreme ruler. He has a very high dominance and prestige, and countless rules and punishment systems are all from him. Under normal circumstances, the normal operation of Li Sol domain is only jointly managed by the Court of Justice and the Court of Judgment. Even the entire Li Sol territory has sent countless talents. As for the Senate, the ones who can join it are all the existence of some old monsters. Most of them are leisurely, and they will show up or hold meetings unless there are special emergencies. In the core area of Li Sol territory, in the extremely mysterious void, here, countless confinement emerge, and the huge building complex decorates this place extremely dazzlingly, which is where the main temple of Li Sol is located. At this time, in the center of the temple, in a majestic hall, a figure of nothingness slowly stood on the black throne. The figure of nothingness looks like a middle-aged person, and his body is wrapped in black aura, and he can't see the specific outline. In this hall, countless ghosts filled the air, and even huge stone pillars rose into the sky, but at this time, there was only one person in the vast space in the hall. Ghost chi lingers on this person's body, but there is no energy fluctuation above the ghost chi, just like the usual black chi, but it is this kind of strange fluctuation that makes this whole world feel sad eclipsed. Thousands of years have passed, and this time is probably my last chance. If I can't use this opportunity to break through the current shackles, I'm afraid my limit will come. The middle-aged man looked up at the endless void and said weakly, "Damn it. At the beginning, I was tempted by the 2 domain masters of the Buddha world and the Devil world, and they jointly sealed the Demon Emperor. They promised me that they secretly helped me defeat the Soul Eater to get the Soul Eater, so as to use the evil soldier's force to break through the current shackles. Unfortunately, although he defeated the Lord of Soul Eater in the end, he allowed his remnant soul to escape, and the Soul Eater talisman disappeared. What's more, I have offended the Demon Emperor. If he breaks the seal in the future, with his reincarnation power, I am afraid that my soul realm will become turbulent. After all, the Demon Emperor has truly stepped into the realm of reincarnation. The strong, even among the 7 realms, is one of the most tyrannical beings. Wrong step, what a pity." The middle-aged man looked at the endless void and sighed. After a short while, 2 flames burst out in front of him, and just when these 2 flames emerged, countless gloomy ghosts in the hall gave off an aura of fear. If Xiao Yang was here, he would definitely find out that the power of these 2 flames was actually the same as that in his hands. The holy flames of the 2 are comparable, even more powerful than the holy flames in Xiao Yang's hands. They are the second group of holy flames. Undying fire, acacia heartbroken inflammation. Thousands of years ago, after defeating the master of Soul Eater, the Soul Eater talisman was lost. I continued the holy flame to the Soul Academy and ordered the Soul Academy to study hard, and finally found a flaw not long ago. This time, the Soul Academy has already controlled the way our ghost world can devour the holy flame, and I can rely on this method to completely complete the transformation. I hope that with the power of holy flame, I can completely break through the 8-star fighting fairy and enter the dream of reincarnation. At that time, even if the Demon Emperor breaks the seal and wakes up to seek revenge, or even the Lord of Soul Eater shoots at me, I will not be afraid of it. Ha ha ha. After a while, the middle-aged man stared at the 2 flames in front of him, his voice extremely ferocious. However, the power of the 2 holy flames is too great. Even if you have mastered that method, you must give up one to attract the attention of other powerhouses. Otherwise, swallowing the 2 holy flames at the same time is just a failure for me. When the time comes, I will use a holy flame to lure others, and I am swallowing it with a holy flame. With the secret method I found, I will definitely be able to break through the shackles. As long as I can step into reincarnation, then I will definitely be able to step into the mysterious cave of the ghost world and find the supreme way. At that time, let alone the ghost world, even if the entire great 1,000-world hungry 7 worlds, I'm afraid they will be courtiers to me. In an instant, an extremely terrifying aura spread out from the middle-aged man's body. In an instant, the situation changed suddenly, and the world became pale. This guy is the real overlord of the entire Li Sol domain, Lord of Souls. Crash. For a few days, Xiao Yang and everyone stayed in the space passage quietly. One day, a violent white light suddenly appeared in the space passage, and suddenly the voice of King Pluto slowly opened his mouth. "Little guys, it's here." Heavenly Hades looked at the exit that was getting closer, and said slowly, "Finally, have you arrived at Li Sol territory?" After a short while, Xiao Yang's eyes also became hot, and through the dazzling white light, a terrifying wave that entered the heart throbbing, slowly emerged. In this trip to Li Sol domain, no matter whether you can find the undead fire to swallow up your strength and significantly improve your strength, the most important priority is to help your master Soul Eater to find the Chiju Yin Soul Cup and restore his peak power. It is also a good idea to lead the many powerhouses in the Soul Eater domain to fight against the Li Sol domain. With the shame of Shue's failure before, he is helping Xiao Gui to solve the problem of his life experience, and then he is Acacia broken heartitis. Acacia and broken enteritis is the top priority of Li Sol domain this time, because it is related to whether Mu Yingying can be resurrected. Li Sol territory. Xiao Gui looked at the light mouth in front of him, but he was a little dazed. Obviously, his memory and even his power seemed to be suppressed and sealed by some strong people, so he had a touch on Li Sol territory. Quite familiar fluctuations, but extremely obscure. Li Sol territory. Looking at the space channel that was getting closer and closer, Du Chifei also smiled lightly, and the smile was full of helplessness, because she knew that once she stepped into Li Sol territory, then she would the identity of a reincarnator will sooner or later be the true overlord in this soul realm. By then, she is in a high position. I am afraid she will not be pursuing happiness, and now this Xiao Yang, whether it is strength or character, above, all of them are quite a good one in their own life. Don't worry. Naturally, Xiao Yang didn't know what Doug Chifei was thinking, and thought that this guy was afraid because he had just arrived in an unfamiliar environment, so he spoke out comforting words. Let's go, everyone. The receptionist of the 4 courtyards has been waiting for a long time. In an instant, Zhuemu also laughed. En. Everyone looked at each other, and then stepped out of the space passage and went towards the outside world. Hey! At this time, just after leaving the space passage, a dazzling light burst out. A scorching sun hung high in the sky. The dazzling light and the tyrannical temperature made everyone's vision a little blurred. After a while, everyone's vision slowly recovered, and they immediately noticed where they were. At this time, they were at the foot of a mountain in the depths of the mountain. There were many mountains in this mountain, one after another, but without exception, the mountain in front of them was the tallest one. What a rich energy of heaven and earth, and this scorching sun is also quite dazzling. Just as he opened his eyes, Xiao Gui was the first to speak. What a magnificent mountain range. Xiao Yang looked at the huge mountain range in front of him, and was also slowly surprised. 11 little fellows, this is the test of joining the 4 great courts in all dynasties. Please ask yourself for more blessings. As soon as the words fell, the figures of Tian Pluto and Zhuemu disappeared, leaving only 11 people. And with the disappearance of the 2, suddenly, at the bottom of the mountain, sparsely populated villages slowly emerged, and even in front of everyone, countless white jade stone steps slowly emerged. This is the white jade stone steps. After a while, Shenzhen said with an ugly expression. Obviously he felt some strange aura from the white jade stone steps. Behind them, some shabby houses emerged, and there were silhouettes of people walking away from the stone steps in front of them. As for the white jade stone steps rising into the sky in front of them, they slowly appeared in front of everyone. Those white jade stone steps, from in front of them it has been spreading to the sky, as if there are thousands of tread. This. Xiao Gui looked at this scene, and immediately looked at each other in dismay. Obviously, a strange power emerged from the white jade stone steps. This kind of power, even Xiao Gui, also showed a sense of fear. Hee, young people. You are quite a face, you are not from outside, right? Suddenly, an old man with a kind face slowly walked in front of Xiao Yang and said to him, "Old man, we just came here, we don't know about the stone steps." Xiao Yang smiled and said politely when he saw this, "You should be from the lower realm, but here, there are countless powerhouses emerging every day, and this stone step, we call it the stone to the sky. It is said that above the Tongtian stone is the statue of the Lord of Souls. Once you break through the shackles of the stone steps and make a wish in front of the statue of Lord of the Souls, you can have a rather small chance of being rejected by the 4 great masters. The strong people of the courtyard will be invited to join the 4 courtyards. The stone steps to the sky will be tailored according to each person. There may be hundreds of them, or they may be endless, but if only Yang can pass the stone steps to the sky, he will undoubtedly step into the ranks of the strong with 1 foot. The old man has been here for nearly 100 years, and I have never seen anyone successfully break through the stone steps to the sky. And like this kind of statues and leads, there are quite a few in the endless territory of Li Huanyu, but these stone steps are not so easy to step on." Looking at Xiao Yang, who was polite, he breathed a sigh of relief. Explained. It turns out that there is such a way. When the other disciples heard the words, they nodded slowly, and then looked at the stone steps in front of them, and their eyes became dignified. Thank you, old man. If that's the case, let's go too. Xiao Yan clasped his fists and smiled at the old man after finishing speaking. He ignored the others and took Xiao Gui and Du Chifei to the stone steps. With a sound, Xiao Yang and the three of them suddenly lifted their front feet slowly and stepped onto the stone steps. The stone steps have a white jade color, as if they are natural, and there is a mysterious power in them. Under the suppression of this power, the power of Xiao Yang and the three of them was sealed in a short time. When Zaidu stepped onto a stone stair, Xiao Yang suddenly smiled slowly, because at this moment, an invisible force seemed to descend upon his body, making Xiao Yang's face rather ugly. Let's go. I want to see how difficult it will be for this heaven-penetrating stone. Du Chifei also felt that the reincarnation rune in his body was temporarily suppressed by the mysterious power of the stone steps, so he stepped directly towards the stone steps, but every time they took a step, the pressure on them immediately increased by 1 point. These guys seem to have rare things in them. The old man who had just explained the rules to Xiao Yang narrowed his eyes slowly, and suddenly said, he has lived here for dozens of years, and naturally he has seen many days. It's a pity that there are very few guys who can really step on the Tongtian stone and see the statue of the Lord of Li Sol. When the other 9 people saw this, they also followed suit. Obviously, until now, they also finally know why Tian Pluto and Zhuamu left them directly. They originally wanted to join the 4 courtyards, except for the competition of Yin Hunshan. And so on. This video will end here.